It's actually kind of peaceful. I really loved it. Except for that, I don't remember that happening, by the way.
For me, in the movie, there's a scene whereby we had to go into a room with chains on the wall. That room actually did freak me out, even though it was in the middle of the day, because it was a very weird room. The second I entered it, I ran out straight away. I said, I'm not going in there alone, please come in with me, and nobody leave me in there. The atmosphere was just wrong. It's like everywhere around it was dry, that room was wet, and there were like tree roots growing inside it, and the atmosphere just felt very oppressive. It's kind of like, you know how sometimes when you go into a room after two people have been fighting and you can sense like something's not right in the air? There was that kind of feeling, and there was one time we were walking down one of the corridors during a night shoot, and Josh, one of the production assistants, was like flashing the light all around because, you know, he's that kind of guy. And I was just, you know, I was trying to keep my eyesight low and to the ground and near me as possible. But in one moment he flashed the light and I was looking into the far end of the corridor and I saw a figure there. And I kind of freaked out. I looked away, I looked back again and he did that again and I saw nothing there. I didn't tell anyone during the shoot and I just, you know, quietly went about my business, pretend nothing happened. Because, yeah.
I think it was interesting for some people that were there. We had a bunch of production assistants who weren't there the rest of the time, only at night, because we need some help at night. And Sueanne and the Japanese ghost, we're, you know, waiting for their shots for hours, unfortunately, but they would just wander around. I mean, James, who played the Japanese ghost, was literally just wandering around like this. And he'd turn the corner and he'd be like, yeah.
Well, for me, one of the scarier moments was during the shoot where me and Audi, we had to go, was it me and you? Yeah, I mean, we were at the second level as airport. Yeah, I was, me and you? Yeah, yeah. Wait, yeah, okay, as airport, yeah. I was literally, I had to carry the boom mic which wasn't connected to anything. So I was like just wandering around. And then, okay, then there's this place which really looks like a prison cell. And it's the SF ward. I don't know whether you guys have been there, but it's just really creepy. I mean, like, yes, yeah, and I just felt. I mean, I wanted to spook myself, but I'm like, okay, this just didn't feel right, lah. So that's just for me, lah. Other than that, I think, yeah.
It can be spooky at night, especially when you go back by yourself. In the scene where Audi and Andrew go back, and Audi is waiting for Andrew, and Andrew's already gone down, and the lightning strikes, and his shadow is cast on the wall. That was actually just me. I had to go back by myself to pick up that shot because I just wanted it, and I had to like bring a bunch of cameras and set one on a tripod with a flash, put on the helmet cam, run in, pretend to be Audi, wait for the flash, see my shadow, and then turn around and start walking upstairs. And that whole night, I mean, shooting by myself there, it definitely just, you know, it did feel like you were not alone. It definitely had a spookiness to it.
How many days were you shooting alone? Or how many nights, rather?
We shot probably 5 days total for the actors, and then I went back for 5 days for myself. I mean, almost any shot that you see without the actors in it, which is actually quite a big portion for a normal film, because it was capturing OCH. I mean, OCH was one of the stars, actually. So I had to go back for 5 days, sometimes at night, sometimes in the daytime.
And you had no like assistants, you're just alone?
Sometimes I had one assistant who would basically stay with the gear, because I went by myself the first couple times, and actually a camera was stolen. I set up a time-lapse camera, and then I would go set up another camera somewhere else, and I came back and the camera was gone. So then I had to get an assistant, and he would actually, I'm not kidding, sleep in OCH with the gear while I went around and shot. I would come back and he was actually sleeping in there.
The tunnel scene, was it a set or was it really on location?
Okay, the tunnel scene was actually added at the end. I mean, I thought it would be cool if we would actually found the tunnels. That would be great. So I went online and I tried to find some old tunnels, or someone who had found some old tunnels in Singapore, but apparently they are all basically, you know, sectioned off, sealed off. And I found these guys, the Urban Explorers of Singapore, and they had found a room on the side of a hill that was like a bunker. and inside of it was all brick, and it looked cool, and there was lizards everywhere. So I contacted them and said, let's go to this place. So they said, okay, we can go there, but it might not be there anymore. We went there 5 years ago. So we went, trekked through the jungle, and I think we found the location, but it had been sealed up. I think they had made a landfall to cover it up. So we were I was kind of bummed out, and I was like, well, you know, I know there's some tunnels like in parks and stuff. They're not as old, they're probably not as cool, but if we have to do that, we have to do it. And they were showing me some photos of places they visited afterwards, because we couldn't find the tunnels, so they were showing me some photos. And they showed me this photo, and it was in the ground about 20 feet, and it was like a barracks, but it was in the jungle, and then you have to go 20 feet into the ground, but there are these metal steps that were like falling apart. And I said, what's in this place? And they're like, we don't know, we never actually went down in there because it looked too dangerous, and we didn't go. And I'm like, can you guys take me to this place? And they're like, yeah, we can go, and we can all go together. Maybe then we'll be brave enough to like go in. So it's like, okay. So where is it? It's in Sentosa. I'm like, because they tried to sell me on the Labrador Park tunnels. I don't want that because it has electricity and all that stuff. So we went to this place. We scaled down in there, and yeah, those steps are not going to last much longer. We went down in, and the ceilings, concrete ceilings, had fallen in. There were these brick rooms, and that's when I found Sao Chen's room that I was going to use for Sao Chen. And I went through there and I just started filming. I just started filming and throwing myself around the room and all this stuff. And when I came out, those guys said, hey, Tony, there are tunnels over here. And I said, no way. So I went in there and I turned the camera on, and the tunnels you see the first time that I went through the tunnels. So I just went through the tunnels with a flashlight, and I kept going. The thing is, they didn't end. And I'm like yelling back, you know, where do these tunnels end? And they're like, we don't know. So I just kept going and going and going, and they actually go around the whole perimeter. So I guess it's an old barracks, and there was no graffiti there. There was no sign that kids would hang out there because you have to go through those steps and climb down. So it's in Sentosa. Those are the tunnels.
What you shot is that was it.
Yeah, that's it. There's no set. We didn't spray paint any of Changi. We didn't do anything to the building at all. Originally in the story, the doors were not flying off the hinges like they were at the end, and I would never have done that, except for the fact that they had actually, what was happening, they were cleaning out the place. They had actually removed the doors, which I never would have guessed they would have done. They gutted the whole interior, they removed the doors. So what I did was I paid the workers to take the doors back up. Then it's like, okay, well, we can bust the doors off the hinges because they're removing them anyways. So that's how that came about.
Okay, I have a question about the props. Or do you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to add to Tony's point that the great thing, what I personally loved about the film is the fact that it wasn't a set. We didn't create Changi Hospital. No, we didn't paint anything. Even the little dirty Barbie doll head you saw stuck in the window pane was there. You know, it was there when we went there. So the reality of Changi Hospital, haunted or not, depending on your own beliefs, is that it's a real place. And there's a history to the place. And, you know, nothing, I think 90% of what we've shot, it's literally what we shot. Yeah. You know, we didn't add or take away anything else. And that's great, you know. And I literally, when the first time, because the first day of shoot was in the day, and I literally look at the graffiti, I'm like, this is not scary at all, man, come on, it's just like, you know, kids mucking around. But the moment you go there at night, there is slightly ominous presence, and you're like, oh, right, this is going to be happening. So, yeah, the building itself is such a strong character that I think that's why Tony loved it so much when he first went there.
So when we were doing interviews and people kept asking us, was it real? It's difficult to answer because, yeah, it is real in the sense that we were there, we did film there, this was what we captured. So,
yeah. Online, I would say it's real. I would say we really did go to OCH. I didn't want to give it away. I didn't want, because I think the experience is you have to either suspend your disbelief or go in believing it, and then I think it's more enjoyable. And actually, the reason that I did make the film was to capture OCH. These things they're not going to exist forever. And that's why I captured it with the stills and the time-lapse and just try to capture the place. And even unbeknownst to me, even as we were filming then, it started to change already. OCH, the way we captured it, will never ever be captured again. It cannot be. Because they have removed the doors. They have removed all the broken glass. They've removed the graffiti. There was furniture in there, and I had a great scene that I wanted to do with the furniture. It was